Welcome to LouddMouth Radio Network. My name is Sunny. As a former professional athlete turned entrepreneur realtor and the producer of LouddMouth Radio Network, I look forward to bringing content to you that empowers, inspires, and entertains you. Tune in each week as we have unscripted and unfiltered talks from entrepreneurship, real estate, politics, entertainment, comedy, LGBTQ topics, day-to-day life, and everything in between. All shows available on demand 24/7 on your favorite podcast platforms. Together, and I have the wonderful opportunity to introduce this segment. And Tacasha, you're the first one in on the new series.
Oh, that's what's up.
I know. So I am definitely excited about this because this is Biz in the Valley.
Okay.
Right? And Tacasha Smith, my distinguished guest that you see here to my right. I want to give you an opportunity to share with our audience. As people can see, she's got on her chef jacket.
I do.
Right? And she is the proprietor of Tacasha's Kitchen.
Yes.
So I want to give you an opportunity to see. So it's so funny, guys. This is behind the scenes moment real quick before I let her mic in. But we actually recorded her commercial bit, her soundbite for her commercial before we started this interview. And because of that, I have been hearing her statement over and over for introduction. So I'm like, oh, we already introduced you. No, we did. We just started to record for this. But literally, I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and let our listeners and our followers and our viewers know more about your business.
Okay.
And, and why we need to know you, right? Okay. I think that's important.
That's important.
So I'm going to give you the floor.
So my name is Tacasha Smith, and I am the owner of Tacasha's Kitchen. It's a new business. I've been cooking all my life, and I decided to turn it into an actual business.
I love it.
Cooking is my passion. It's therapeutic for me, and I just want the people to know I cook from my heart and my soul.
I love it. And I think that's that part that you say that's kind of your mantra.
Yes, it is. Yes. You know, everyone that knows me knows that I just need a reason to cook.
Okay.
If you give me a reason, I'm cooking.
That's it.
And I find it really interesting to try to create different foods, challenges. I don't think there's nothing that I can't cook. If it's something new, I will go research it and try to do it and put my own little twist to it. So.
I love it. And you're a California native.
I'm from Long Beach, California.
She said, y'all hear that? I'm from Long Beach. I'm from the LBC.
You can't forget where you come from. You can't forget where you come from.
I'm not mad. I'm from Chicago, and I've lived in a lot of different places, but it's so funny. People's like, don't get it twisted. I'm from the South Side. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the South Side, Chicago. There. Yeah. So being from Long Beach, and here we're in the Temecula Valley area, and so for those of you who may not be familiar with this area, this is another part where they call the Inland Empire, the IE, right? Giving a little geographical understanding. So Southern California is pretty vast, right? So you're right in the middle of like LA and San Diego. So you say you've been cooking all your life, and so what inspired you to start doing this business? What brought that about?
Well, I've been a full-time mom forever. My youngest is 27. My oldest is 32.
No way.
Yeah. It came
What happened? You said that. We ain't gonna ask her age, but she did say she's got a kid that's 32. So I was gonna let that be right there.
My life has always revolved around my kids, and it was a time of an opportunity for me now to do something for me, what I want to do.
Yes.
And I've always worked my background is the mortgage industry.
Oh, wow.
And so the mortgage industry, it goes up and down. And at the time, I'm newly married. This was the first opportunity that I've actually had a partner that said, hey, you can do you. I got your back.
I love it. Give me some.
And he did it.
Hey.
And he allowed me to step away from the corporate America and just dive in on faith. And that's what I did.
I love it. And so how long have you been actually in operation under Tacasha's kitchen?
2023. So a year. March of 2023 I started. Okay. I jumped in just jumped in. I thought that I could just start cooking. Okay. People don't understand the behind the scenes.
Oh boy.
You know, the paperwork.
Yes.
You can't just pull up nowhere and pull your truck up and just start cooking. You know how it works.
For some they do.
It is definitely some red tape there.
Right. See, there's some processes and some things that
you gotta have permits. You have to you have to get permission basically, because in the food industry, you know, food is deadly. People can get sick, so you have to take
a lot of risk.
Yeah,
a lot of liability.
Yes, you have to have insurance, everything, all these permits, and it's good for on both sides.
Correct. So. Each side is kind of protected.
Yes.
So those who are watching and listening, you know that she's serious, right? She's taking the necessary, steps to get things that she needed to have to quantify being in operation. So what has been the journey for you since you've started this thing?
The journey has been, I'm new to the Menifee area.
Okay.
We purchased a home in 2022 in Menifee, and I just saw the need of, there's no Southern cuisine this way, no good barbecue. I am a foodie, so a lot of times me and my husband will go out to eat, and he's just like so disappointed, like, we should have just stayed at home and you do it. Okay. And so that's what got me out this way, to just provide the need. Okay. Because I know my food is good. So if you taste it, and if you've tasted it, you know it's good.
So in other words, you're finding in the scope of the area, the demand.
Our food is in a outlet.
So you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. So remember when I started this, we talked about where we're from. And Chicago is a place that we will feed you. You know, Chicago is one of those places that's known for food. We have an annual big, huge event called the Taste of Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And so when it comes to food, I will say, and then I came here from Atlanta, Georgia, coming from the South. So to come here and see something that's a huge commodity all the time, and then coming here and it's like not as much. No. Right now we're like about an hour 45 from Los Angeles. I think LA has more presence in that realm. I do know of a few businesses in the area that are, catering or food trucks, or there may be some few brick and mortars here and there, but they're spaced out. So like Menifee, like the Temecula, Menifee, Wildomar, Winchester, this scope of area compared to the amount of people, the population of people, there is a big gap. Right. Tremendously. So naturally we're in California, so there's always Mexican food. There's plenty of fast food, right? Plenty of that. But the soul food area is very minimal compared to the geographical aspect of our population.
In the soul food area, what I find is soul food originated from our ancestors. It's cooking from the soul. So there is no half stepping. So for me, when I'm putting out my food and my soul food, I want you to taste it like I cooked it out of my kitchen.
Correct.
I don't want to be able to. I don't want you to feel like I've cut corners. I'm using all fresh products. My grandmother had a garden, and she harvested every day. So we grew up on fresh vegetables. She cooked everything from scratch every single day. So I don't use canned goods. Everything is fresh. Everything, because that's what soul food is. Right. When you can't do, and I won't say you can't, because we're in a whole different time far as food, and food has just grown in so many areas. True. But real soul food is not diet. It's not like on a healthy tip.
Right.
It's not.
It's. I think what you're touching into is that generationally is passed down,
right,
and it becomes something that you learn to do.
Right.
You learn to inhibit the elements of what soul food is and what defines it.
Right.
And so, like she said, you got a lot of sugars, you got a lot of salts, things of that nature. Not that you have to cook that way. You can. Now, this is the thing. You actually attended a culinary school. You've had training.
Yes.
You've had good home down. Brought it all the way down the generational line. So you got a good definement of both. Right. So you can also tweak things, right? And we got to be real that we're in a world right now. Our society is dying with obesity, sugar, salt, diabetes, high blood pressure. So you can cook without salt and still not lose flavor. Right. Seasoning does not mean full of salt and full of sugar. That's true. Right. But you don't have to necessarily compromise the taste. But taste, texture, all of that, there is a difference. Right. Right, because you can have, soul food isn't bland. No, it doesn't have a franchised taste. No, so to speak. If you're eating soul food, you're eating soul food. Right, it has this authenticity that's just what it is. Right. So for you, what are some of the food items that you like? What do you highly specialize in? Is there something you specialize in more than others? Right now in the area, I'm a female pit master, so I'm out there on the grill. Okay. And so it's funny because people come up and my husband, he's standing there and they're thinking he's stepped away. Like, no, it's all her. Right. Like, I don't want nobody on the grill. I know what it's supposed to look like, so I'm grilling. And we got to make sure we make emphasis pit master. That's to important. Be on the grill as a female, knowing what to do, what to look for. I've always cooked, so I don't allow anyone else to come up in the kitchen or even bring. If you come to my house. Yeah. You can bring some paper plates or something, but you can't bring no food because I got to cover it. Right. Say don't bring it in. You take it out, but don't bring it in. No. Okay, I love it. So for you, how are you? What is your goal at this point? You're a year in. Ideally, what would you like to do at this point? I just want the Inland Empire to know who Tacasha Kitchen is. Okay. I want them to be able to find me, be able to taste my food, be able to book me. It's a little difficult out this way because I don't have a food truck, so I'm solely operating out of commercial kitchens and doing private gatherings as far as catering. Yeah, so if people don't know who you are, they can't look for me. They can't book me. Got you.
Hello, my name is Tacasha Smith. I'm the owner of Tacasha's Kitchen, based out of Menifee, in the Southern California area. As a chef and caterer, I provide private cooking classes, couples dinners, and private parties. As a female pitmaster, I am able to create a personalized experience for your family reunion gatherings. I create menus based on my clients' needs to have a more personal vibe. You can find Tacasha's Kitchen on all social media networks such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and my YouTube channel at Tacasha's Kitchen. And that's spelled Tacashas Kitchen, KITCHEN.
You're listening to the LouddMouth Radio Network.
So for the bigger part of what you've been able to do, we are a year in. You're looking to do more catered opportunities. You're looking to be infused into people's events. You're looking to be more known in the community, right? So for those of you who have never heard of Tacasha's Kitchen and you've never had an opportunity to taste your food, what would probably be the best way of connectivity or opportunity? Do you have anything do you have any events or anything that you're involved in right now? Well, actually today I'm not cooking, but I am doing a hosting today for Girl Scout cookies. Okay. And as far as cooking,
You can find me on any social media. You can book me. And I'm getting ready to launch where on Saturdays and Sundays, you can order plates. I'm in the process of having some menus drawn up. So I'm taking pre-orders to see if that will actually grab people to come my way.
Right. To definitely introduce them to the food itself. Right. I love it. So for those who would, put those orders in, they will pre-order and then pick up.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I do like about this area, and I feel like that's going to serve you well, is that this is a working community throughout a lot of the areas. And so people have busy schedules. So, the thing is that rings clear for me is that people don't necessarily have all of the time, or do they desire to maybe put that kind of labor of love into, preparing food. Right. So you give them a nice opportunity. Hey, we don't forget Soul Food Sundays. You know what I mean? Right. That's the key token. I remember many years ago I interviewed a gentleman that's been on our radio network that was a chef, and he really hones in on those personalized dinner preparations and
meal prepping.
Yeah, the meal prepping opportunities. Because there are some businesses now that have sprung up where people are ordering food and that's the other thing I noticed, that a lot of this newer generation, they don't know how to cook.
No, they don't.
So there's a lot of people that are ordering food and having it delivered.
Also, too,
4 or 5, dishes of, not even dishes, but 4 or 5 days of food.
Right.
That they all have that's prepped, and then they're able to just.
Yeah, I'm able to do that. I know my son is a personal trainer, and so he's had me a couple times with his clients.
Very nice. Yes.
Prepare meal prepping,
dietary needs, and
because I am able to
proportion
tweak stuff depending on what the client. Like I said, I cook and I build my menus based off the client's needs, because that makes it more personal. And it's not, a lot of people ask me like, well, what do you specialize in, or do you have a menu? And I have to let them know, like, I don't operate from an actual menu, because I get to know my client and see exactly what they're doing. Right. And then we create the menu based off of that, what their need is, what their diet is, their guests, who their audience is, who's going to be there, and then make sure, because people have seafood allergies. There's all kind of different things that come up into play. So to have just a regular generic menu, I feel like sometimes that could stop me from getting the business, because then that's not what they're looking for. Right.
So you can personalize their menus and stuff like that. That makes sense. I think that for the place and time that we are in, and this is the summer, we're coming into the summer, so I find that people don't have a lot of patience to cook too. I don't know if it's because of the weather, or they're just more interested in doing other things. So I think that that's a great opportunity for the people that are in this community to connect to Tacasha and to get those catered meals, or even if you want to have a date night and you don't want to cook, but you want to make an experience. How wonderful would it be to be able to bring Tacasha into your home and have that experience, whether it's prep prior to or prep during the time process of, And
even, the youth there, when I say the youth, I'm talking anywhere between 7 and 14, 15. They don't know how to cook, but they like being in the kitchen. Right.
But that's the age when you're supposed to start really
that's where I learned.
Teaching
I started
them,
at 7 years old. I was supposed to be in the kitchen with my grandmother pulling out the drawers. Standing there getting popped by grease. So that's where I learned it from. So I do offer that because I have the passion for it, and it's fun to be in the kitchen with the youth because they follow directions, and
they're just totally dependent upon what you're telling them instructionally. So they're gonna do
and then to create what you're making, and then they're just excited that they did it. It's something that you can take home with them, and they can do it at home. And it's because right now social media, these kids is on social media. There's no family time, no togetherness. Ooh. So you can use that as a tool to get in the kitchen and bring me in, together. And as a family, bring us all together. The proper
classes.
Right.
I like that. It's the real truth. I mean, there's so many dimensions here. I think that Tacasha, you are a very talented chef. I've had some opportunities to experience some of your food at a vendor event.
I was in soul food tacos.
They was pretty good. And you know, it's funny because people are like, I don't know, but they were good. I can't even deny. You might not think to do. I mean, she took a real jump of courage to do it, and she pulled it off. They taste wonderful. And so I think that when people now are trying to figure out, you know, sometimes things to do, because I know you offer cooking classes.
I do.
So that's another thing that would be a wonderful thing, maybe as a family, that a family comes together and have an experience. Now, are you a pastry chef too, or more?
I do bake. I'm not a pastry chef, but I do bake. So I have a couple different items that I do make. My peach cobbler is to die for. Banana pudding, pound cake.
She's trying to take care down. She's trying to take care
homemade German chocolate cake, strawberry cream cheese crunch cake. So it's a few things that I'm known for.
I almost said something so inappropriate about that German chocolate cake.
Oh, my German chocolate cake.
Just know that there's not too many things that I won't do for some German chocolate cake. But see, we're not going to let the devil use me today. We're just going to refrain, because I am really working on my comeback after weight gain figure. So I'm just going to pretend like I didn't hear German chocolate cake. That's such the devil. Man, so Tacasha, for you now, share something with the community here that they need to know that you have not had an opportunity to share, or that they don't know in regards to Tacasha's Kitchen, and what wonderful way that you could be an addition to their event. Or,
well, I'm very personable. You know, I'm passionate about what I do. You know, and I love cooking. You gotta like what you do. You gotta love what you do. And it for me, it's not just a business. You know, it comes from my background. It's a whole history of it. And so, you know, my grandmother is definitely smiling down on me, because, you know, it's within me. I was bred to cook.
I love it. I love it. So for anybody that would want to connect to you, how would they get to you?
Well, I'm on all social media networks: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I have a YouTube channel, and you can find me at Tacasha's Kitchen, and that's spelled Tacashas Kitchen, Kitchen.
Guys, it's so funny because when you hear a commercial, you're going to hear this, so they're like, oh yeah, I heard that part. So I think that for many of us that are in the Valley, and this is the cool part, let people know, what areas are you serving? Like, what areas are you open to and willing to provide your services?
I go all over, but I am in the Inland Empire, San Diego, Orange County, Los Angeles. So if you call me, I'll invoice you, and I'm there.
Hey, you know that she said she's going to invoice you, so don't play no games. Let's not get it twisted. This is not a pleasure trip. So that's cool, because that's like about 100-mile radius all the way around. Right. And it's so funny. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about distance. And one of the things that I want people to understand is that, you know, when you come from areas like Chicago, Atlanta, or DC, some of these areas where these populations are spread out. Even out here in California, we're spread it out. So we got to relax and get comfortable about the fact that over an hour, 30 minutes being within reach. Because how often do you go to San Diego, or how often do you come to LA? So in other words, don't count my business out. Right. If you're willing to venture to those places, don't discount me for being in this particular area. If there's opportunity and there's something that you want, I can deliver it, and keep me in the notion of the opportunity, right? Right. So I appreciate you coming over today and coming into the studio.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and what's wonderful is that I remember. I'm gonna tell you guys a quick little piece of this. I remember the first time I met Tacasha. So we ran into each other recently at another vendor event, but it's been well over a year. It's been well over a year and some change since I remember meeting you. And I was at a networking event, and you were one of the catered vendors. And so there were people walking around with food. And so every time that somebody had some of Tacasha's stuff, like people were taking off, like the waiters, they were moving out and people were coming like hawks, just snatching the stuff off the plate. And so every time I was like coming over, and then I remember getting, 2 or 3 things that you had made. And I remember trying to run you down about a dessert. And he was like, oh, we ain't got no more of that. I was like, well, what? And he was like, that was mine too. I was like, oh man, I ain't get that. And so literally when I saw you again, it's been like maybe like 7-8 months or so. And so when I saw you again, and then I remember the first thing you said, oh yeah, you remember, I remember meeting you, and I had the plates, that was all my stuff, the food that kept going. I was like, okay, so you're going to bring that back up and just make me relive that trauma? I'm like, that's how you going to do me? Oh my God, I do remember. I was like, oh, so you got a taco for me today, right? Ain't nobody going to snatch it off the plate this time. But I just think, guys, it's so important to, support and wrap around these business owners, man, because entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. It takes courage. It takes resilience. It takes consistency. It takes the loyalty to what you believe about yourself that maybe others haven't gotten the opportunity to see yet. And so I commend you on this walk. I look forward to being a part of the aspect that just continues to let more people know who you are. And today, have an opportunity to see face, hear voice. And, the next thing is to definitely get in touch with the food and wrap around that. And so I look forward to seeing your growth. And I'm going to tell people who are watching this or hearing this, thank you in advance for investing in a small woman-owned business, right? And I think it's all up from here.
Thank you.
I think it's all up from here.
I appreciate it.
No, look, straight up. We ain't playing no games. We ain't playing no games. Because if you don't expect it, you cannot receive it, or you got to be ready. That's one of the things I tell people is that you got to speak on what you know and believe in what you desire.
And keep faith.
And keep faith. And keep trucking no matter what it looks like. And sometimes, and we talked about this before we got on air, sometimes you need to be able to pivot.
Yes.
Right? And so, Tacasha, you're a year in. That first year is a huge achievement.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. The next year and the next year and the next year, it just continues to keep going, and you'll probably be hit with different challenges. But what I can tell about you already is that you're not shying away from it. You're recognizing when something may not work. This may not be working as well as something else, and sometimes you got to figure out what that is for you. Right. And don't be afraid to try to connect. And I think that that's the wonderful thing, that these are the networking opportunities that are needed in order to connect to folks.
And what I will say too is what I've learned with food. Food is an avenue to connect, to bring people together.
It is.
And that's what I like to do. Food makes your soul happy. You just think about it. When people are eating, they're happy. Gatherings.
That's true.
So I've always used my cooking as a way to bring us all together. Everybody, everybody got that family member that you be like, oh, I don't want to be bothered. But then I'll throw something together and be like, we all gonna get together. I'm cooking, and we all gonna forget what just happened, and we're gonna get it together. Right. And it softens the area.
It does.
So.
Music and food has that unique thing. You know what I'm saying?
Because we will party now.
Yeah. I said that about like house music. I think if you turned on house music, give them something to eat and turn on some house music. It can stop a war. Yeah. That's just how significant it is. Definitely. Because it's like you said, it touches the soul. And we have to eat in order to live and survive. So, you're not in a industry that's not a need, right?
Oh, we're gonna always be eating,
right? But you're definitely a bonus because you give people an experience in the process. You know what I'm saying? So
it's definitely good to be able to have someone come into your home, cook for you. Yeah. So you don't have to do it and just have that experience.
Or even in this event, man, listen, that's one of the less things. And I notice here there's a lot of vendor events that take place. So those who are doing events and stuff like that, I think it's important. Know your vendors, know the potential vendors that you want to attract. And I always say it's always great if you're going to do something with somebody who's representing themselves at a professional level, who has integrity, that wants to be able to do what they need to deliver. It makes you and your event look good, and it also helps your business. So it all works, right? It just coincides. So thank you so much, Tacasha, for coming out.
Thank you again for having me. I appreciate it. It was a pleasure.
I love it. it. So guys, check this out. This segment is available on your favorite podcast app. Share this content. Let someone know that you heard about Tacasha's Kitchen on LouddMouth Radio Network.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. All right, y'all. Be blessed.